The next great event which will be discussed is the great sacrifice of the Holy Prophet Ismaeel by his father, the Holy Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon them. Chapter 37 As-Safat, verses 102 to 107.
And when he reached with him the age of exertion, he said, O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you, so see what you think. He said, O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, if Allah wills, of the steadfast. And when they had both submitted, and he put him down upon his forehead, we called to him, O Abraham, you have fulfilled the vision. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good. Indeed, this was the clear trial. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice.
The first lesson to understand is the importance of patience when facing tests and trials. A Muslim should always remember that those more beloved than them to Allah, the Exalted, namely, the Holy Prophets, peace be upon them, were put through much more severe tests than them. In fact, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, confirmed in a narration found in Jami' at-Tirmidhi, number 2472, that no one has been tested more for the sake of Allah, the Exalted, than him. Patience involves avoiding complaining through one's actions and speech while maintaining one's sincere obedience to Allah, the Exalted. This involves using the blessings one has been granted in ways pleasing to Allah, the Exalted, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Muslims should also bear in mind that no matter what situation they find themselves in, it is beneficial for them, even if this is not obvious to them. As advised by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in a narration found in Sahih Muslim, number 7500, that if a Muslim faces a difficulty and shows patience, they will be rewarded for it. And if they face times of ease and show gratitude, by using the blessing they have been granted correctly, they will be rewarded for it. So according to this narration, every situation a Muslim encounters is beneficial, even if they do not observe the wisdom behind it. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
Muslims should also understand that they will encounter a situation which has been decreed for them by Allah, the Exalted, irrespective of how they react to it. If they face it with patience, they will find an uncountable reward in this world and in the next. Chapter 39 Az-Zumar, verse 10.
Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account, i.e., limit.
But if they face it with impatience, then they will lose out on the reward and endure more stress because of their attitude. Either way, they have to face the difficulty that is destined for them. Therefore, they must choose the path which leads to reward and blessings in both worlds. In addition, a Muslim should not be naive and realize that this world is not paradise. It is a world created in order to test mankind, so it therefore can never be free of tests and trials. Chapter 67 Al-Mulk, verse 2.
He, who created death and life to test you as to which of you is better indeed.
When a Muslim recognizes its innate nature, facing difficulties and tests does not surprise them, as they expect this while living in this world. The same way a person expects to get attacked if they find themselves with a wild animal, they should expect tests and trials in this world. Mentally preparing in this way will prevent a Muslim being caught off guard, which is often a cause of impatience. Another lesson to learn from this great event is that the same way a person cannot gain things in this material world, such as wealth, without sacrifice, neither can a Muslim obtain the pleasure of Allah, the Exalted, without sacrifice. Chapter 29 Al-Ankabut, verse 2.
Do the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tried?
Muslims should be grateful that Allah, the Exalted, does not require them to make big sacrifices like the ones made by the Holy Prophet Ibrahim and the other Holy Prophets, peace be upon them. Nor is Allah, the Exalted, demanding Muslims to sacrifice in the way the companions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, did. They sacrificed their wealth, homes, families and lives. Instead, Allah, the Exalted, has entrusted Muslims with a few obligatory duties which require a little sacrifice of their time, energy and wealth. If one ponders over the greatness of paradise, they will realize the sacrifices they have been encouraged to make are very small compared to the promised reward. Therefore, Muslims should show gratitude for this by submitting obediently to Allah, the Exalted, by fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions, and by facing destiny with patience according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The sacrifice of the Holy Prophet Ismaeel, peace be upon him, is an indication that a Muslim should always be ready to sacrifice their desires, love and wishes for the command of Allah, the Exalted. The ritual of sacrificing animals for the pleasure of Allah, the Exalted, Muslims perform annually, represents this. It is not simply a sacrifice of an animal, but much more. Chapter 22 Al-Hajj, verse 37.
Their meat will not reach Allah, nor will their blood, but what reaches Him is piety from you. Thus have we subjected them to you that you may glorify Allah for that, to which He has guided you.
Muslims should adopt the piety mentioned in this verse all year round by placing the commands of Allah, the Exalted, before their desires. Only then will they be able to truly follow in the footsteps of the Holy Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, correctly. Another important lesson to learn from this great event is trusting in Allah, the Exalted. Even in situations which appear inescapable and disastrous, like this great event, a Muslim should always trust in the choice of Allah, the Exalted. Muslims must understand that their knowledge is very limited and that they are extremely short-sighted. Meaning, they cannot fully perceive the wisdoms behind the choices of Allah the Exalted. On the other hand, the knowledge and the divine perception of Allah the Exalted is unlimited. Therefore, a Muslim should trust in the choices of Allah the Exalted, just like a blind person trusts the guidance of their physical guide. No matter what the attitude of a Muslim, the choice of Allah, the Exalted, will occur. So it is best to trust in His wisdom rather than showing impatience, which only leads to further trouble. The one who maintains their obedience to Allah, the Exalted, by using the blessings He has granted them in ways pleasing to Him, will always be moved from one blessed situation to the next, even if this is not obvious to them. In addition, it is important to remember the countless examples within one's life when a person desired something, only to regret it after obtaining it. And when they disliked something from occurring, only to change their mind later on. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
As destiny is out of people's hands, it is important for Muslims to concentrate on the thing which is in their control, if they desire to be rescued from difficulties, namely, the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, by fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions, and by facing destiny with patience according to the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Allah, the Exalted, has already guaranteed that He will save a Muslim from all difficulties in both worlds. All they have to do is remain obedient to Him. Chapter 65 at Talaq, verse 2.
And whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out.
It is foolish to stress about the thing which is not in one's control, meaning destiny, and remain heedless to the thing which is in one's control, namely, obeying Allah, the Exalted. Over 400 free ebooks, audiobooks, infographics, podcasts and blogs available on our website, www.shaykhpod.com.